Might be hard to believe, but Sir Keir Starmer has had a very easy ride in the media by a lot of people. Oh yes, even The Guardian loved him for a while, but even they now realise, of course, with plummeting sales and the fact that nobody actually reads the newspaper anymore, well, they've got to do something. I told you a couple of days back now that apparently most of the major channels had decided to, well, relinquish having a look at the very first year of power of this current government, headed by Sir Keir Starmer, the current British Prime Minister. And it's all falling apart behind the scenes. You know, what you don't know and what I know is exactly what's going on, because clearly, you know, these people are falling out. I mean, pictures like this, they really desperately wanted to stop. This is Keir Starmer picking up the notes of the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. It's a godsend. You know, really, it's just everything you need to know. Then you have him turning up over, of course, to meet the Canadian Prime Minister, Mark Carney. Met Mark Carney, very ambitious, oh yes, ruthless to the core, but that's how you get into power, right? But there we have Keir Starmer looking like he's just popped out in his dad's slippers to meet one of the big leaders of the world. Just doesn't look good. He can't represent us, and each time he's becoming more and more feeble and more, well, ineffectual, really, from the start. If you remember, right, just under a year ago now, once he got into power, along with Angela, who looked like one of the Treebor Mints, if you remember, in the green outfit, well, they all rocked up into the Rose Garden and everybody applauded, and all the main cheeses from the BBC, ITV, Sky, everybody, oh, don't call me, Prime Minister, just call me Keir. That's exactly what he said in the Rose Garden. And the most important bit that he said there, actually, was this. He said, oh, you know, the grown-ups are now in charge. What a shambles it's been. But now even the BBC are turning against. Morning, chums. Lovely to see you. Thank you so much as ever for taking the time out and joining me today, and nice to have your company. Do you remember a couple of days ago I told you about the idea of, well, you know, all of the channels we're going to have a look at, and they all do this, you know, particularly in America, the first 100 days, you know, all that sort of stuff, and then they analyse what they said in their sort of manifestos and then what they've done. But you see, over here in the United Kingdom, both the BBC, ITV, Channel 5, ITN, Sky all relinquished the idea of doing a follow-up, you know, of exactly how bad this very first year has been for the British Prime Minister, alongside the likes of Rachel Reeves, who lied, Jonathan Reynolds, who lied, this woman who couldn't keep it together, didn't even know her own stuff, Yvette Cooper supposedly smashed the gans, couldn't smash an egg, couldn't stop a boat if she tried. The bottom line is they're all a shambles. The thing that I keep pointing out is they've had 14 years to find the best people, you know, that's how long they've been out of power. And when you look at this ramshackling lunatic sort of bunch of people that they have, is this the best that they can attract to the once revered Labour Party? When I was growing up, I'm sure it was the same in your part of the world, but there were just two parties really. I don't remember the Liberals, you know, and I don't mean that in a nasty way, it's just they weren't a big party. The thing I remember was David Steele and the other guy, I've forgotten somebody else, David Owen, and they sort of teamed up, didn't they, with Shirley somebody, I've forgotten her name now, and that was the big drive, if you remember. Everybody, oh, this was, nothing changed, it just remained the two parties. So they had a wonderful opportunity. Keir Starmer has proven one thing, he's clearly no leader, just wants to hide away, you know, and being very sort of submissive to all the sorts of people. The personal stuff behind his life is also very chaotic, you know, but because he's a lawyer, he's able to add super injunctions and injunctions to certain things, which means he can't be uncovered for now. But what's interesting is the BBC have decided to work on a radio documentary. Oh yes, this is a very soft touch in, but at least it's a start. Here's the interesting thing though. They contacted all the celebrities, and this is what I find funny. You know, the likes of Sir Elton John, Carol Vorderman, Jason Manford, John Richardson, Beverly Knight, the endless people, the actor James Norton. Would they like to come on? No, they're not. No, they don't want to come on. No, you're too busy, they can't, it's the wrong date, whatever. They know that they sold you down the river, particularly Vorderman, who was, you know, frenetic in her approach of wanting to push and push and push. And suddenly now they're too busy. They've made sure your life is hell. What I would say is this. It's interesting, but next time you go out and you see their product, think about that if, of course, you disagree with them. It's your choice. They decided, Elton John, oh, we need change. He's living in another country, but we're lumbered with this change. It's out on June the 30th. It's going to be interesting to see exactly who the BBC can finally get to spill the beans on what a shambles, a chaotic and utter disgraceful year it has been for this latest British government. I'd love to know your thoughts. Neil Shaw, Kensington, London.